For those of you who have questions, we'll hold those to the end, and then you can type in your questions in the GoToWebinar control panel. So if you guys are on your computer or even on a tablet, you can type in questions. If you have questions after the webinar, if you listen to the recording, you guys can shoot me an email. It's Jen with 2 N's at Holistic Health Boss, and holistic is with a W, so that's holistichealthboss.com. And we'll get started here in just a second. Just going to wait another minute or so to let anybody who is jumping on late with us, maybe getting home from work or joining in, just another minute or so to get started here. So we'll get started in just a second, you guys. I'm excited. Today's Thursday. It's the end of the week. And this is a perfect time to start talking about toxins. You can maybe take some of the stuff that we're going to talk about tonight and put it into play this weekend. All right, looks like we have a couple more people joining here. Just wait one more second. Also want to let you guys know too that you should have received, when you registered for the webinar, there was an email that you received to confirm your registration, and there was the Toxins checklist handout. Your free bonus is signing up for the webinar. That was in the email, but I've also attached it here for you tonight as well. It is on the control panel, so you should be able to download that. We're going to be referencing it a little bit later in the workshop also. So, all right, you guys, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So this is the Truth About Toxins and How to Detox Them workshop that I'm hosting free online for you guys tonight to talk about this really, really important topic, basically. And you're in the right place. Like, this is the right workshop for you if you have maybe been suffering from a thyroid condition or adrenal fatigue or maybe gut issues and possibly other unexplained health problems. We're going to talk about the links to some of those things tonight. We're also going to, or you're also in the right place, excuse me, if you feel like you need caffeine to make it through the day and you constantly crave carbs and sweets. We're going to connect the dots with what that has to do with toxins as well. Also, if you're ready to get rid of stubborn weight and embarrassing belly bloat for good, especially if you have been struggling with this. Maybe you've put on a few pounds or more and you don't know why, and your typical exercise and diet routine is not working for you, like nothing is budging. Also, if you just want to cleanse your body but fear giving up your favorite foods and investing in expensive juices or supplements, maybe you guys have tried some of these things in the past and they haven't worked for you, or they work for a short period of time and then you bounce back really bad from them, gain back the weight, your energy goes down. So if you're experiencing any of this, you're totally in the right place. We're going to address all of these things during the workshop tonight for sure. So exactly what we're going to be covering is how toxins are draining your energy by contributing to things like thyroid, adrenal, and gut dysfunction and overall health issues. We're also going to help you identify where toxins are hiding in your home. So that's part of the toxins checklist that you can download here on the webinar, or that you would have received in the email confirmation when you registered. I'm going to go over why juicing doesn't work. Juicing is probably one of the most marketed schemes out there for detoxing toxins, but if you're just juicing, it doesn't work, and we're going to go over what you should be doing instead to make it more effective. And then we're also going to talk about how to support your body's just daily detoxing abilities without, expensive supplements and juices, and how all that relates to the toxin exposure that we are facing today. So for those of you who don't know me, let me introduce myself. I am Jen Maleka. I'm a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, which is essentially kind of a fancy word for a health coach, but I certainly do more in-depth work than your typical health coach. You can also think of me as someone similar to a naturopath, except for I don't write any prescription medications or diagnose specific diseases or anything like that, but I do a lot of the same work that a naturopath does. I'm also a certified personal trainer. I have been for a really long time, and a master transformational coach, and I blend all of these skills and trainings into my practice when I work with clients. So how I started doing this work was I got into the business as a personal trainer, and that was a little over a decade ago now. And back then, I thought that I knew everything there was to know about getting healthy, about diet and exercise. I mean, I have my degree in kinesiology, which is all around fitness, nutrition, and health. And the cornerstone of my education in that degree talked all about calories in versus calories out, and that was the magic equation for weight loss and health overall. On the outside as a personal trainer and on paper, I looked like I was in perfect health. My blood pressure, cholesterol, all of that always came back great. Physically, I was in shape. I could, run half marathons and do all of that, but on the inside, I was really struggling. My energy was completely drained all the time. I severely struggled with a 4 p.m. crash. I used to get double Americanos in the afternoon just to stay awake for my clients. And in comparison, I don't drink coffee at all anymore on a regular basis. It's a very rare occasion and a treat for myself. So what I'm going to teach you guys today has helped me to resolve some of my own energy issues. Also, in this work as a personal trainer, I started to get frustrated because clients weren't losing weight, and I had trouble managing my weight also. Even though I was eating right and telling my clients to eat right, we were counting calories and exercising, there just seemed to be something more that was missing to the puzzle for weight loss and for health in general. And this really made me start to question some of the conventional information and practices that we have out there around health overall and weight loss too. And over time, my health started to decline internally, even though I still looked perfect on paper with my cholesterol and blood pressure and all those things. I started to develop severe allergies, headaches, ear infections that would take me out for days at a time. And then actually at the age of about 25, I was diagnosed with skin cancer, and it was not genetic. It was not related to anything in my family, so it was a pure product of my environment and kind of a red flag for my health. And that's what kind of drove me to do more research. And in that research, I also found that I was suffering from adrenal fatigue, I had a leaky gut, and eventually I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. So all of this came to help me find that something was wrong. Like, I knew that something was wrong for a long time, and this is where I became a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, where now I've healed myself and my clients using holistic lifestyle approaches, running different types of lab tests, looking at the person from a functional standpoint and how the whole body works together to support all of the aspects of our body to rebalance our hormones and our digestive system and our detoxification system, like we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm on a mission just to share what I've learned through my experiences over the past 4+ years with all of you, because through sharing my experience, I hope that you can find some of the solutions to what might be going on with your health exactly. So let's talk first about the toxic history. We're going to dive right into toxins first. I want to kind of set the stage in the background for toxins, and then how to detoxify them afterwards, and why this is such an important topic, and it's gaining in more popularity and importance as we continue into the future. And some of these numbers here on the screen that I'm going to share with you are kind of astounding and astonishing in so many different ways. So the toxic history is that essentially since the 1940s, it's been documented that over 100,000 toxic chemicals have been released into our environment. And most of these have received very minimal research, or minimal studies have been done on them to look at the long-term side effects of them. And also, there's little research or no studies to show how some of these toxic chemicals actually interact together when they're combined. And if you think about it, our liver, like we're going to talk about tonight, is one of the most important organs when it comes to detoxifying our body. So from an evolutionary standpoint, we have a liver, and as well as our kidneys and our skin and our lymphatic system. It's part of what we have evolved with for the purpose of detoxification. So some people might say, well, why do we need to focus on detoxification when that's what our body is naturally supposed to do? And they're correct in saying that. However, the alternative thought that I would like to offer up to you is that that is true for maybe our ancestors in the world that we lived in, over 100 years ago, where we didn't have as many toxins in our environment, where we lived in a much more natural type of world. But now with technology and all the things that we have in our environment, our liver is facing a toxic overload that it's never faced in our history ever before. So with 100,000 toxic chemicals, that's like asking your liver, it's like assigning your liver 100,000 new responsibilities to process on a daily basis without giving it any extra time or compensation to do that. I mean, could you imagine if your boss walked in tomorrow and asked you to pick up 100,000 new responsibilities without it giving you any extra time in the day or compensation to do that? You would probably feel overwhelmed and burdened by all of those responsibilities, and that's kind of similar to what is happening to our liver. The Environmental Working Group, EWG, is a great resource for you guys to look up more information in regards to toxins and chemicals themselves. They publish studies all of the time. And in 2016, they published a study showing that 420 chemicals known to likely cause cancer were detected in blood and urine and hair of and other human types of samples across all different types of demographics. So it doesn't necessarily matter where you live or what your ethnicity is. They're finding these toxic chemicals in our bodies across all different types of chemicals. And the World Health Organization has even stated that they believe that nearly 1 in 5 cancers are caused by chemicals and other environmental exposures that are not only in our workplace but also found in our consumer products, our food, and our air and our water, like we're going to talk about tonight. And they've also have been quoted as saying that certain experiments have showed that these chemicals, TPHP and PDPP, stimulate receptors that is important to fat cell development, and they're starting to quantify new chemicals as obesogens, and even low doses or low exposures to these TPHP type of chemicals disrupts fat metabolism and decreases liver cells' ability to repair damaged DNA. So these chemicals that are in our environment are drastically changing, are altering our body. They're overburdening it and altering it in so many different kinds of ways. And essentially there are 4 major classifications of chemical toxins that directly impact your health on a daily basis. So the first type of classification is a chemical that we would consider what's called a mutagen. And the name kind of tells you exactly what it does. Like, these types of physical or chemical agents actually change genetic material. They cause genetic mutations. So they can alter our genes. They can mutate over time, and then you pass those genes onto your children at some point in time. Or maybe your parents pass those altered genes onto you, or there's changes that are happening genetically in your body right now as a result of chemicals. The other category that we have that most people know about, this is the most common one, is carcinogens. And these are any substances that are directly involved in causing cancer. So a lot of people know carcinogens in relation to cigarette smoke, for example. And then another major classification of chemicals is something called endocrine disruptors. And I talked about this in my blog today, if you guys read that email. But these are chemicals that can directly interfere with the endocrine system. And the endocrine system is what houses your thyroid, your adrenals, the HPA axis, which is the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, your pancreas, your pineal glands, your thymus, your parathyroids, And when this system, your endocrine system basically is what dictates the functions of almost everything else that your body does. Everything from your metabolism, like weight gain or weight loss, to hair growth, to your body temperature, to fertility or infertility. Your endocrine system is hugely important. So there's actually a specific class of toxins or chemicals that are called endocrine disruptors because they disrupt the endocrine system, and this can lead to things like birth defects, hormonal imbalances, and certain kind of developmental disorders, autoimmunity, infertility, like I mentioned before, irregular periods, severe PMS symptoms, acne, all different kinds of things can be related to endocrine disruptors in the endocrine system. And then the fourth one is obesogens. So obesogens are kind of a newer classification of chemicals that we're seeing, and obesogen type of chemicals, they divert other cells such as stem cells into fat cells. So basically they're making cells that are supposed to be, become bone, for example. They're now being diverted into fat cells, which increases fat accumulation, which is why they're called obesogens, just like obesity, that's where the word derives from. And then in that certain scenario, it would also contribute to osteoporosis, because now you have less cells that are converting to bone, and that would result in brittle bones. So you can see where these four classifications of chemicals that we come in contact with on a regular basis can be extremely harmful and impact our health greatly. So the question is where are these toxins hiding in your environment? Because one of the ways to improve your health, or to rebalance your health, or to avoid some of the ailments and sicknesses and the disease that can be caused by these chemicals, is to reduce your toxin exposure. But first you have to understand, where are the toxins coming from? So like I mentioned earlier, on the control panel, you can download the toxins checklist, which is basically a checklist to help you guys go through your home and work environment, your personal care products, your cleaning products, materials that you're using in your house, to find out where are these toxins hiding in your household specifically. Also, you guys got this download or this handout in the email when you registered for the webinar. If you have trouble locating that, let me know and I can send it out to you. But essentially, there are two different types of toxin exposure. There's external exposure, which is going to come from things like food, like pesticides and herbicides, antibiotics and hormones that are pumped into meats and those type of things. Also from the air, so this is where a lot of those carcinogens are found. There's actually 2 million tons released into the air each year. Also in water, like waste runoff and chemically treated water. So this can be the water that's coming out of your sink that you're using to cook with, or that you're drinking or even showering with in some cases. Also in your home, your household cleaning products, your personal care products, and in the food packaging materials that you're using, so plastics and Teflon coated materials. I think it was 2 weeks ago, I did a blog all about Teflon and how Teflon, there's been studies that have shown when you're using Teflon in the kitchen and cooking with it, the fumes of the Teflon kill birds. I mean, that's how toxic that it can be. If you're cooking with Teflon in the same room as your pet bird, you could kill it potentially. But also Teflon is an endocrine disruptor. It affects thyroid and adrenals and those hormones greatly. And then we also have medications. So a lot of us might be using either prescription medications or over-the-counter medications. And some of the fillers, the binding agents, coloring that they use, and additives, those can all be chemical and toxic as well. So you could imagine if you're taking those things on a daily basis or even a regular basis, you're exposing yourself to maybe toxins that aren't necessary or regularly all the time. Now we also have internal toxin exposure. So there's actually toxins that can be within our body basically, And these are somewhat normal, and our body should be able to excrete these chemicals and toxins that our body produces when the liver is functioning right. So again, our liver has been overloaded with the number of toxins that are found in our environment these days. So maybe the system where the internal toxins are actually building up inside of you. These are things like free radicals or damaged cells, as they're known, things called bile acids that build up, excess hormones like excess estrogen or testosterone or progesterone or pregnenolone, cortisol. Those can all become toxic for our body. Also, biochemical toxins from stress and emotion. So when we think negatively, that actually creates biochemical toxins that stress our brain and our immune system and our digestive system. One thing that I focus on greatly in my practice is overgrowth of parasite bacteria and yeast in the gut, because those gut critters produce their own toxic waste. They have their own bug poo and their own die-off. And where do you think that stuff goes? It ruminates or sits in our body, and it creates this toxic waste. And then also if we have a clogged or sluggish detoxification system. So again, if your liver is overloaded, if your lymphatic system is not moving on a regular basis, we have to actually move that through exercise or through light massage of the skin, or if our kidneys aren't functioning well, these things can create a backup in the detoxification system. So it's really important to understand, where are the toxins coming from? Again, download the checklist that I provided for you guys as part of the workshop and start going through the checklist and identifying where are the different places in your life or in your house where you might have excess toxin exposure. And then one by one, you can start to work on swapping out some of the products or things that you're using in your home or your environment to reduce your toxin exposure. And it's a two-part equation, right? So we want to reduce toxin exposure, and then we also want to support the body in detoxing the things that we do come across that we maybe don't have control of, because we can't always see, hear, or feel or control the toxins that are in our environment, especially in our work environment or if we travel. So the other half of this piece of the puzzle in solving this is supporting the natural detoxification system of the body. So let's talk a little bit more about that. And specifically, first we're going to focus on why juicing doesn't work. So the juice craze has been around for some time now. I mean, this is usually the first of the year and through the spring, and as we get closer to summer, you guys are going to see a lot of marketing and promotion for juice cleanses, either a 3-day or a 5-day or a 10-day juice cleansing. I also see a lot of marketing and promotions for fasting as a way to detoxify. And the myth here is that juice cleansing is the best way to detoxify the body. And the actual fact is that juicing or these types of cleanses are a total waste of money if you're not getting in enough protein. And that's because in order for your body to naturally detoxify, you have to have protein. So there's actually 3 different phases of detoxification that is happening in your body 24/7 all the time, and we never know exactly what phase it's in, because it's not like it's a start, cycle, and stop. These things are happening consecutively all the time. So in phase 1 of the detoxification process, what's happening is that your liver is using enzymes and oxygen to basically metabolize the toxins that you come in contact with. And your liver has to metabolize toxins from anything that you ingest, that you eat or drink, to things that are absorbed through your skin, or anything that you're inhaling through the air. And in order for the liver to complete phase 1 or to do phase 1, there are certain nutrients that are needed, like B vitamins, the strongest antioxidant, glutathione, certain flavonoids, amino acids, and amino acids are basically protein building blocks. So you need leucine, isoleucine, valine, and cysteine in order to actually go through the detoxification process. You need these protein building blocks for phase 1. And then in phase 2, these oxidized toxins from the liver are then packaged with water molecules for elimination. And again, in order for this part to happen, we need certain nutrients. Again, we need B vitamins, we need fiber, certain amino acids, those protein building blocks like taurine and glutamine and cysteine and lysine, as well as glycine and acetylcysteine and other antioxidants. And then the last part of the process is phase 3, where now these things have been packaged with water for elimination, and then they're transported in the liver and the kidneys through the intestines, and they are excreting the toxins. So we definitely need to be drinking water. That's kind of a no-brainer when it comes to detoxification. So juicing doesn't work alone. If you guys like the aspect of juicing, you can certainly do that. But in order for juicing to work, you have to have all of the nutrients to properly detoxify. So if you can see, if you were to do a 3, 5, or 10-day juice cleanse, and you're not eating any protein, you're going to be lacking in B vitamins and some of those protein amino acids that you need to actually move through the 3 phases of detoxification. So proteins can contain those essential amino acids and B vitamins for phase 1 and phase 2. So if you want to do juicing as part of a detoxification program, then you just need to make sure that you're pairing your juice with some kind of protein daily. Now, animal proteins are ideal because they're the most complete protein that are going to have everything you need from B vitamins to the different amino acids. If you're a vegetarian or a vegan, you can also do some alternative protein sources would be things like hemp protein, which is actually the most complete plant protein that you can find, rice or pea protein, but you want to try to avoid dairy as a source of protein because it's extremely inflammatory, and the processing of dairy can also expose you to more toxins. And then the last part that you want to include when you're doing juicing is fiber. So when we juice, we tend to get rid of all of the pulp, which has the fiber in it. So that's where I tend to like maybe doing smoothies more regularly with clients. So you can opt for smoothies over straight juices. It's still going to give you all of the great benefits that you would get from a juice, but you're going to get more of that fiber that's needed for phase 2. And you want to include whole fruits and vegetables, not just juiced ones, so that you're getting the benefits of the nutrients that are in the skin and all the other parts of the juice itself. So again, if you guys want to do juicing, that's totally great and fine. You just want to make sure that you're pairing it with protein and that you're getting in fiber in order to support the phase 1 and phase 2 of the detoxification process. So the daily detox solution, like we've been talking about, I said it's this equation. So detoxification is decreasing the bad stuff that goes in by identifying the toxins that are in your environment and where can you make some changes. And then we want to increase what goes out. So other things that you should be looking at in terms of detoxification, especially when you're juicing or doing other things, is you want to make sure that you're drinking a ton of water. Like we saw in phase 3, we need the water molecules to actually excrete the toxins out of our body through the kidneys and the liver and the intestines. What's going to let you know that you're detoxifying regularly is how many times a day that you're peeing and pooping. So this is a big thing to focus on. You should be urinating multiple times a day. It's okay to pee a lot. The more water you drink, the more you pee, the more toxins come out. And then you certainly want to make sure that you're having a bowel movement at least 1 to 2 times a day. If that's not happening for you guys, then that means that there is going to be a backup in the detoxification system because these toxins come out through stool and urine. So if you're constipated regularly, that definitely means that you have some internal toxicity that is probably going on. Another thing that you guys can focus on that really helps is loading up on cruciferous vegetables and albumin vegetables. So these are going to be things like cabbage, kales, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, onions, garlic, shallots, leeks, and chives. And then if you want to add in some additional support, maybe it's not realistic for you to eat all these things on a regular basis or to juice all the time, you can add in a liver support supplement as needed to kind of, it's an extra enhancement to the detoxification process, especially if you travel or you're going to be traveling. It's where you can add in some additional support. Because the reality is that your liver is the biggest missing piece. This is, like I mentioned earlier, your major detoxification organ. It's what is, facilitating that phase one, like we saw, where it eliminates toxins in the body. Plus, it does all of these other really important things for us. So it converts our hormones. It converts 20% of thyroid hormone, the T4 to T3. And it also regulates our blood sugar levels. So if we're overloading our liver with toxins in our environment and not doing anything to support our liver, then guess what happens to hormone conversion? It decreases. Your liver is also what helps to excrete excess hormones. So if you have excess estrogen that might be causing you night sweats or irregular periods or painful menstrual cycles or bloating or hot flashes, then that could be a sign that your liver needs some support too, that you're not able to eliminate some of this excess estrogen. And like I said earlier too, your liver is in charge of transforming glucose to glycogen. So if the liver is not working optimally, then your insulin and blood sugar levels are going to remain high, which can create something called leptin resistance. And leptin is the hormone that triggers the body to burn fat or not, and it also affects energy. So when we focus on improving liver function, we see energy go up and hormones get more balanced and blood sugar levels are balanced too. So we want to focus on, a daily detox kind of tune-up. Loving your liver, think of your liver like your car. Like every once in a while, you need to take your car in to get the oil changed or the air filter replaced or the tires rotated because you use it so much. Well, the same thing kind of applies for your liver. We're asking it to do a lot on a daily basis. We've seen all these toxins that are in our environment, and therefore we need to give our liver support. So you can do that by doing some specific liver cleansing to flush out the built-up toxins. There's different types of liver cleansing protocols that I use with my clients. In traditional Chinese medicine, they have some there too. You can take a daily liver support supplement, like I mentioned earlier, something that has a little bit of milk thistle in it. Milk thistle is one of the great herbs that you can use to support liver function. You can also eat foods that are naturally detoxifying, so things like beets and dandelion greens and grapefruit all help to support liver function and the detoxification process. And then, like I've already mentioned a couple times before, you want to just work on reducing your exposure to toxins daily by using that checklist and working through some of those things and making that a process. As you start to run out of your cleaning products or your personal care products, you can start to swap them out as you go and replace them with less toxic materials. So, you don't want to fall for any gimmicks. Now you kind of understand that juicing alone doesn't work. You know that you need protein and fiber in order for the detoxification system to actually function. And the myth here is that detoxing requires expensive supplements and juices. And the fact is that supplements and juices help, but they aren't the answer. Like we've already kind of talked about, there are some things with your diet that you can do. So what cleansing really is it's not about the juicing, the supplements. It's not even about eating leafy greens or depriving yourself of real food. The basic 3 steps to cleansing right is making sure that you're eating foods that are right for your body and a good variety of them. So the correct ratio of protein, carbs, and fats that are going to support, your glucose levels and your liver function, that are also going to give you all of those B vitamins and amino acids and nutrients that you need in order for your body to do detoxification. Also, eating organic and anti-inflammatory foods. Non-organic foods is where we expose ourselves to more pesticides, herbicides, antibiotics, and hormones that are found in those foods. When we eat organic, you are reducing your exposure there. And then anti-inflammatory foods, so avoiding things that are really processed and inflammatory, like gluten, dairy, sugar, soy, and alcohol that have extra additives, chemicals, toxins, binders, flavorings that are added in them. And then, like I mentioned earlier, you can support the natural detoxification system by eating the most naturally detoxifying foods such as beets, dandelion greens, and grapefruits on a regular basis. You can do some DIY liver flushing at home. You want to make sure that you stay hydrated, that you exercise regularly, and you sleep. And then you can add in some supplements if you want to, but you can see that juicing and supplements are not the foundation here to cleansing right. And then the third part of this puzzle is, again, minimizing your exposure daily, swapping out your personal care and cleaning products at home, and making an environmentally friendly home. So this is what cleansing really is, you guys. If you want to see long-term results from cleansing your body and health improvements, these are the three main things that you need to be focusing on. And the how-to, so you might be wondering, well, how to, like, what do I do with this information, or how do I apply this now that you have this information? So the first thing is to eat right for your body. I always tell my clients that there's a difference between eating healthy and eating right for your body. You need to figure out where your body feels best with the right ratio of protein, carbs, and fats so that you can optimize nutrient delivery to your system. And you can do that just by noticing and doing some food journaling, seeing what meals make you feel really energized and good. And a key sign to look for to know if you have the right ratios of protein, carbs, and fats in every meal is that you should be able to go 3 to 5 hours without feeling hungry, or between meals, basically. So there's a difference between eating right for your body and eating healthy too, because not every healthy food is going to be right for your body, but eating right for your body will incorporate healthy foods. So understanding which foods, like I said, give you energy and which ones don't feel so great, even though they might be healthy. So like quinoa would be a good example. Maybe you eat quinoa and a couple hours later you notice that you're hungry, or energy tanks, or you have a little bit of anxiety, or it upsets your stomach. Most people would deem quinoa as like a superfood or a good food, but maybe it doesn't fit right for you. So figuring out what's right for your body specifically. And then, like I said, using the toxins checklist to minimize your exposure, and doing this just one by one. It might feel overwhelming when you do the toxins checklist. Maybe there's a lot of things that you feel like you need to swap out. I would just pick 1 or 2 things to focus on at a time, and then slowly start to make the transition. And then also the other thing that you can do to apply this is just have some specific focused time once or twice a year where you're going to give your liver that tune-up, just like we talked about, just like you would take your car in, you know, for your 50,000-mile oil change, or every 10,000 miles, whatever it is, you take it in for an oil change. The specific time of year where you're going to focus really on eating clean for maybe 30 days, where you might do some liver flushing practices. You're going to get lots of rest and exercise regularly to really help flush out some of those toxins that you've come in contact with over the course of the year. And then there's some extra things that you can do to also promote the detoxification process on, you know, a somewhat regular basis. You can do things like dry body brushing. This is something really easy that you guys can do before you take a shower a couple times a week. You get a natural bristle brush to brush the skin. There's a ton of videos out there on YouTube about how to do this. So you just get a brush, and this is helping to move your lymphatic system, which your lymphatic system is like the body's sewage or drainage system, but it doesn't move on its own. We have to promote movement of this system. So we do that through exercise, and we can also do that through dry body brushing. So you take a brush, you start at the outward places of your body, so your fingertips and your toes, and you're going to do brushing strokes up towards the center of your body. The extra benefits to this is it also helps to reduce cellulite, and again, it helps to flush out those toxins by moving them through the lymphatic system. Yoga is another great cleansing enhancement activity that you guys can do on a somewhat regular basis. Maybe I always recommend for my clients to do yoga once a week for multiple different reasons and health benefits that they get out of that. But certain poses in yoga can actually activate the liver and detoxification organs. That helps to reduce cortisol, which is your stress hormone, and it helps to balance other hormones, and plus you break a sweat. Sweating is another way that we release toxins. Massage can also be really beneficial. This increases circulation. It helps to move the lymphatic system and reduces stress as well. Acupuncture kind of has similar benefits where it stimulates the immune system and circulation, and you can actually get certain acupuncture treatments that can be specific to detoxification and digestion that help to stimulate the liver and the kidneys and the digestive system overall. And one of my favorite things to do is an infrared sauna. This helps to heat the body from the inside out, and it stimulates those detox pathways. So not everybody has access to an infrared sauna though, but sitting in an infrared sauna, which is a dry sauna with infrared lighting or heaters, it's different than your typical sauna that you're going to find at the gym. You have to specifically seek out an infrared sauna, but it heats the body from the inside out, helping to stimulate the detox pathways. And you can do this for about 20 minutes a couple times a week, or as frequently as you can, to really help push out some of those toxins. And plus you get the benefit of sweating on top of that, which I just mentioned before, also helps to, that's how we eliminate toxins, is through sweat as well. So if you guys are wondering there, like, do you really need to do a cleanse or detoxify? Here's some of the most common signs that your liver needs support. So if you guys are experiencing any of these things, this could be kind of an indication or red flag that your liver is burdened with toxins or burdened with too many responsibilities right now, and toxins are playing a role in that. And it could really use some love at this point in time. So things like belly bloat, abdominal fat specifically, like that excess weight around your midsection, joint and muscle pains, if you're feeling exhausted all the time, like I was explaining for myself earlier, when I've done liver flushing in the past, I always wake up feeling like I could run a marathon the next morning. If you have acid reflux or heartburn, dark spots or liver spots on the skin, excessive sweating, or if your body odor, like your armpits and stuff like that, if you have yellow stains in your shirts or your body odor is really potent, those can be signs that you have built up toxins. Any kind of unexplained weight gain, headaches, and menstrual irregularities. Also, like I mentioned earlier, if you guys are suffering from any thyroid or adrenal or leaky gut type of issues, this all links back to, everything works together, so it'll link back to the liver in some kind of way, where the liver, converts thyroid hormone or helps to stabilize blood sugar for cortisol adrenals and helps to balance everything for the digestive system. So those are other things that are not listed here that could be signs that you might need to pay a little attention to your liver and put some focus there. So now you know the truth about toxins and how to detox them, but I get it that you might still be feeling like a little confused or overwhelmed, like this is a lot of information and maybe it seems overwhelming on how do you find a starting point, or you just don't know where to begin with cleansing your body. So to help you with this part of the puzzle, I have created what I call the Seasonal Cleanse Challenge, and this is going to be the 6th Seasonal Cleanse Challenge that I've hosted over the last couple of years, and it's taking place March 23rd through April 20th. Perfect for the spring. Spring and fall, like I mentioned before, are the perfect times of year to cleanse the body. It's basically over the course of 28 days or 4 weeks, and the concept of this cleanse challenge is a lot of the things that we've been talking about tonight already. So focusing on removing some of the most toxic and inflammatory foods from your diet, like gluten and dairy, sugar, soy, and alcohol. And then I have you guys focus on including those naturally cleansing foods such as grapefruit, raw beets, and dandelion greens. We also are going to work on promoting the body's natural cleansing ability through exercise and some easy at-home liver flushing. So one of the focuses of the Cleanse Challenge is to make sure that you're drinking ample amounts of water for your body. every single day, that you're getting to bed at a reasonable time, getting regular rest, that you're doing 30 minutes of exercise. And then I'll be teaching you some of those at-home liver flushing techniques that you guys can do throughout the Cleanse Challenge. And through the Cleanse Challenge, what I want you to take away from it is I want you to learn how to maintain and continue cleansing daily, to see that you don't need juicing and supplements all the time, that there's a lot of things that you guys can be doing on a daily basis like we've been talking about tonight in order to support the body. So here's an example of what are some of the cleansing activities that are a part of the challenge. So this is where your accountability to cleanse right comes in. So these are some of the activities that we focus on. Each activity is worth a point. So this is a challenge. There are points that you'll be racking up as you go. You get a point for every day that you're gluten-free, dairy-free, for example, every day that you have a grapefruit or some of a grapefruit, that you drink enough water, that you're to sleep on time. And throughout the challenge, you get to accumulate all of these points. Now, the great thing about the challenge is that you get to go at your own pace. So you can pick and choose what are the things that you want to focus on specifically. If doing all of this seems overwhelming, that's totally fine. You can pick and choose the things that feel most attainable for you and just focus on that stuff. And maybe every week you try to add in something new, whatever feels right for you. And with that, with those that are the daily activities, there's also some bonus points. And these are some of the kind of liver cleansing techniques that I'm going to be teaching you through the challenge. If you try some of this stuff, you get to earn bonus points. So one of the things that I'll be teaching you guys about is something called the daily castor oil pack. And this is something that you can make at home really easy using wool flannel and castor oil. And this helps to promote liver function and immune health overall. So you get to rack up some bonus points for doing that. I'm also going to be teaching you liver flushing concepts. So how to use lemon juice and grapefruit juice and olive oil to actually flush the gallbladder and the liver, to squeeze out liver bile and toxins that might be stuck in there. So you guys get to try some of those things and earn some points. And then there's also going to be weekly webinars throughout the challenge that'll be released on Thursdays. And these are 30-minute recordings that are going to teach you the proper way how to cleanse your body, how to maintain it, and this is where you guys are going to get a lot of guidance on some of these activities. So some of the other things that we focus on in the weekly webinars are, like figuring out what are the right ratios of protein, carbs, and fats for your body, how to eat right for your body to reduce the stress load so that your body can just function at a higher level overall, and you can get all the nutrients that you need in order for your body to actually facilitate the detoxification process. We'll be diving into more detail in the webinars about toxins in your environment and how to get rid of them, or some of the different cleansing enhancement techniques that you can use on a regular basis, so that you walk away from the Cleanse Challenge knowing how to make these improvements in your life and how to continue using all of these tools. I want you to be able to apply this to your life forever. And then the extra bonus to the Cleanse Challenge, I guess, is, like I've been mentioning, all of these activities are worth prizes. So there is going to be a raffle for participants that earn at least 325 points, and that might seem like a lot, but there's a lot of ways for you guys to earn points on a daily basis and through some of the bonus activities. And everybody who gets 325 points will be put into a raffle to either win 3 free health coaching sessions with me or personal training sessions that I can either do in person or virtually. And also, to keep you guys motivated along the way, there's some weekly giveaways, like a year free membership to Thrive Market, which is an online kind of health food grocer where you can get things at 30% discount. Dale's protein bars, which are some of my favorite, discounts on workout apparel, and all kinds of other things. And the final bonus that you get in here, there's more bonuses, more things that are part of the Cleanse Challenge, are weekly workout tip videos to help you guys with, attaining 30 minutes of exercise on a regular basis to help you sweat out toxins and move your lymphatic system. These are going to be exercises that you can do at home or on the gym or on the road. You're also going to get my exclusive health and weight loss checklist to help you for long-term results. There's going to be a private Facebook group for community and questions and guidance. And every single person who participates in the challenge gets a free 45-minute Ask the Expert session with me so that we can talk about, how do we dial in the right ratio of nutrients, the protein, carbs, and fats for your body. We can uncover any other healing opportunities to help you reach your ideal in health through the Cleanse Challenge. I'm going to help you, apply the Cleanse Challenge, figure out how to make it work for you so that you get the most out of this challenge. Ultimately, that's what I want. Like I said, I've done this for 6 years in a row now, and I've had some returning participants that have been great. Beverly here has participated in 5 out of the 6 Cleanse Challenges, and she keeps coming back for more because every single time she does a Cleanse Challenge, she gets a little bit better at something, or she makes another slight improvement. And that's what I was mentioning earlier. The beauty of the Cleanse Challenge is that you get to go at your own pace. And she's adopted many of the skills that she's learned during the cleanse, and she continues to improve. And she always recruits her husband, and he gets amazing results. I'll never forget the first time her and her husband did it. He lost like 10 pounds within the first week, just making some simple shifts in her diet. And somebody else like John, this Cleanse Challenge is appropriate for anybody. So John was a really active person who already ate healthy, and the Cleanse Challenge even helped him to lose some extra pounds and also improve his quality of life overall. Like when we cleanse our body, we gain mental clarity, we lift any brain fog that we might be experiencing, our brain starts to function better, and we can see so many improvements overall just besides weight loss and energy that can happen. Here's just some other examples. Mary has participated in the Cleanse Challenge a couple of times too. Mary has muscular sclerosis, so flushing her body of toxins and focusing on liver and gut health has been a huge help to her managing her MS symptoms on a regular basis. And Rachel was one of the recent Cleanse Challenge participants. She did it for the first time. She had never made any type of changes to her diet at all. She was a little hesitant at first, a little fearful about going gluten-free and not knowing how to do that, but she found that through the Cleanse Challenge that being gluten-free really does make a significant difference for her body. It was a lot easier than she thought it was going to be because of all of the resources and support that she got through me and the Facebook group. And her husband did it along with her too. They both lost some weight, saw improvements in their energy overall. So my question for you guys is, are you up for the challenge? Who is up for the challenge with me? And some of these people who are going to be coming back, I'm sure Beverly is going to be in here again with us. And we're going to have a new group for the Cleanse Challenge that's coming up. So you guys are getting exclusive access to this tonight, everybody that's on here live, and for those of you who will be accessing the recording first thing tomorrow, you're going to get exclusive access to grab a spot because there's only 50 spaces open for the Cleanse Challenge. So invite any friends and family that you want for extra accountability to, and make sure you snatch up those spots. So right now tonight, registration is open for all of you. You can actually save $20 by March, if you sign up by March 10th, so it'll be $89 versus $109. You just want to make sure that you use the promo code that I have up here on the screen, which is CHALLENGE-ME, all lowercase. And ultimately, enrollment is going to close on March 16th, and that's because the challenge starts on March 23rd. So I'll repeat that again. The challenge starts on March 23rd. In order to save $20, you want to sign up before March 10th using the promo code CHALLENGE-ME. Ultimately, the last day to enroll is going to be March 16th, and there's only 50 spaces available. So if you guys are interested in this, you can go to the link below. It's holistichealthboss.com/cleanse challenge. Like I said, the registration is open for you guys now. You want to snatch up your spot because they could go really fast. So that'll kind of wrap it up. I'm going to open it up. If you guys have any questions for me, please feel free to go ahead and type your questions in on the control panel down at the bottom, and we can go over any questions that you might have about toxins and the detoxification process. You know, whatever else that you guys might be thinking of at this point in time based on the information that we have gone over this evening. So while I wait for people to type in any questions that we have, here's some of the most common questions that I get in regards to some of this information. So a lot of people in the past have been concerned that, you know, it's spring, they have travel that's coming up. So what if I'm traveling during the Cleanse Challenge? And we've had plenty of participants in the past travel during the Cleanse Challenge to Europe and all over the place, and they were able to do what they could on the Cleanse Challenge. That's, like I said earlier, the beauty of the Cleanse Challenge is that there's all these different activities, but you can kind of pick and choose. So if you happen to be, you know, traveling, you can do the best that you can and rack up the points that you can, and it's all about creating a balance. So when you get back from your travels, then you can utilize some of the bonus type of activities like the liver flushing and the castor oil packs to rack up more points, but also to offset some of the travel and maybe the toxins that you have come encounter with. So again, it's about striking a balance. We can't always control, you know, the toxins that are in our environment, especially when we're traveling, but it's about what can we do on the side to offset the impact, and that's where things like liver flushing, castor oil packs, taking a liver support supplement can be really helpful. Another commonly asked question is, what exactly do I have to cut out of my diet? And, you know, there's no requirement to cut out anything. What is suggested in the Cleanse Challenge in order to reduce inflammation and reduce your exposure to toxins is to try to avoid gluten, dairy, sugar, soy, and alcohol, because these are the most inflammatory, processed, and toxic containing types of foods. Now, I don't expect you to be perfect all the time, especially if this is new for you. So again, this is where you can do your best. There's the points on a daily basis that you can earn the checklist, and you know, if there's something that is really worth celebrating, like my husband just had his 40th birthday yesterday, and if that was happening during the Cleanse Challenge, I probably would have indulged in a glass of wine or two like I did last night and just not earned points for that category that day, but I could have made it up, those points up somewhere else. Again, it's about creating a balance, so maybe doing some liver flushing or a castor oil pack the next day to offset a glass of wine. Another question is, you know, what if I fall off track? And I can't emphasize enough that the beauty of the Cleanse Challenge is that you get to go at your own pace and pick and choose what works for you. There's no expectation to be perfect, like I mentioned earlier. It's just about doing the best that you can. And the great thing about the Cleanse Challenge is that a lot of people do come back and repeat and participate season after season with this, because just like the example of Beverly's, like every time you get better at it. So if this is your first go around with the Cleanse Challenge, you fall off the wagon, you have a community and a group with the Facebook group, all the other participants to help encourage you and get you back on. And then you work to make improvements that you can for the coming week, or maybe the next time that you do the Cleanse Challenge later on. And another common question is, what kind of results can I expect to see from the Cleanse Challenge or from doing a cleanse? So we've kind of talked about all of these throughout this workshop tonight, and like I mentioned earlier, this is really big for anybody who's suffering from thyroid, adrenal, gut, or any kind of health dysfunctions, because as we've talked about tonight, the liver is a huge part of making sure that the rest of our body is running optimally. So this can hugely benefit you from that standpoint. You know, also what you can expect from this is weight loss. You know, when the liver is working better, we're able to balance blood sugar better. We're able to reduce stress on our body that allows us to lose weight. You might see your energy go up as a result. Like I said, when I've done liver flushing in the past, I wake up feeling like I can run a marathon the next morning. And you can also see improvements in your skin and in your hair, as well as, you know, your sleep is going to improve. A lot of people will start talking about how their sleep improves. They're able to fall asleep easier or stay asleep through the night. So there are just so many benefits that you guys can get. I mean, the list goes on and on. It can help to reduce allergies. It helps to boost your immune system so that you don't get sick as frequently. It helps to balance hormones like we were talking about. Also, it can help to improve your mood and your mood balance, like how your anxiety is or depression if you guys are suffering from any of that. The whole body is linked together, so focusing on these different parts of the puzzle will help to improve your overall health. So, all right, any other questions that we have here from you guys? Let's see. I don't see any questions typed into the question box, so I'm going to assume we don't have any questions. Like I said, the registration is now open. You guys can go to holistichealthboss.com/cleanse challenge. Share this with your friends and family. You get to save $20 if you sign up now through March 10th. Enrollment ultimately closes on March 16th, and then the challenge starts on March 23rd. So you have exactly 3 weeks to prepare for the Cleanse Challenge. Don't worry about it. There's emails that you'll be getting once you sign up to help you prepare yourself mentally and physically for what we'll be doing in the Cleanse Challenge. And I will be participating right alongside with all of you guys. I'm excited to see you guys in there. I hope you found this helpful for tonight. Thank you for registering and attending this workshop, and I will see you in the Cleanse Challenge.